evening, everybody. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Sam Corrales. Watch the game live and our past episodes on demand on the Pilipinas Live app for just 149 pesos a month. Available for download on Google Play or on the App Store.
Buckle up, sports fans, and let's get in the game. It's a great day as Gilas Pilipinas is off to the semifinals of the 19th Asian Games after escaping a comeback by Team Iran late in the quarters matchup. Justin Brownlee came up big as he finished with 36 points, including 4 3-pointers in the first quarter. Jumar Fajardo was also on fire with an 18-point outburst, going 7 of 9 from the field.
Professional naman kami sa veterano kami, so kailangan madali kami mag-adjust. So yun yung pinakita namin throughout this tournament. So sana na-sustain natin.
Meanwhile, Elrene Ando takes her first ever medal in the Asian Games after a bronze medal finish. Ando tallied a total of 222 kilograms, her personal best, and a national record for the women's 64-kilo category for clean and jerk.
Sa akin po, hindi ko in-expect na makukuha ko yung medal kasi galing kami sa World Championship at saka hindi pa siya talaga masyado makarecover. Tapos parang nagtiwala na lang ako sa sarili ko na kaya-kaya. Gusto namin ni Ate Heidi na makukuha yung mga medal. Kaya parang nag-decide kami na siya yung maglaro sa 59 tapos ako yung maglaro sa 64. And siya rin yung nagsabi na may chance din ako sa 64 kaya nag-try din ako na maglaro sa 64.
And with that, Team Philippines gets more chances to bump up their Asian Games medal tally rankings. The country is now at the 20th spot with 1 gold, 1 silver, and 8 bronze medals. China still leads while Japan and Korea are toe-to-toe in the final stretch of the 19th Asian Games. And after the break, we'll catch up with NBA legend Dominique Wilkins for part 2 of his Inside the Game special interview. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're still watching the game. Now, you can't have a conversation about the greatest dunkers in the history of basketball without the name Dominique Wilkins. In part 2 of our Inside the Game sit-down with a human highlight film, he talks about his legendary slam dunk contests and what fans can expect from the Atlanta Hawks this season. Let's watch this. Two-time slam dunk champion, but should be three. Four. And four. It should be four. But here's my point. You mentioned that four. Multiple times you joined. I remember the first time you said you really joined because Dr. J was in it and you just wanted to watch.
I didn't even really try to compete, you know.
But why is it that players don't join even once? The big stars don't join you. You guys joined multiple
times. Got so many things they're doing All-Star Weekend, you know, because these guys are now brands. They're, corporations. Okay. And so maybe they're protecting that. But I think the other thing is that nobody wants to know who the best is.
The best at any end, at dunking.
In that contest.
In that contest. Yeah. So does that mean from a competitive standpoint, they were not as competitive as you guys back in the day?
Well, I think as a competitor, I'm going to compete against anybody.
Right.
Win or lose.
Right.
I'm going to compete, but I don't think a lot of guys want to go down there.
Yeah, right. They don't want to lose. You guys didn't mind that because you were...
Well, it ain't all about winning or losing. The fact that the people are talking about our dunk contest 34 years later.
Sure. Can you still dunk?
On Friday. I need a week to warm up.
But you can still. Is it still 2 foot though?
Only 2 foot.
Only 2 foot? Okay. I wanted to ask that. Okay. Obviously, you are a legend from Atlanta, but you were drafted by Utah. Did you ever imagine during those times, if you were with Utah and you were with Stockton, you were with Malone, you would have gotten a couple of titles? Is that a thought process?
If you played with Ross, it's no question.
Jerry Sloan as a coach?
Yeah. No question I would got more than a couple of rings, But hey, life is not that way. I ended up where I wanted to be.
Right.
And that was Atlanta, and I have no regrets.
Okay, sure. Especially with that statue out there at the State Farm Arena now. The NBA as an organization is the best in recognizing, celebrating, and elevating the legends. We see that during the All-Stars. We see that all throughout the year. They have the Legends Night. Does that mean anything to you that the NBA, there's a reverence to the legends?
That started with David Stern.
Right.
And Adam Silver just took it to another place. Right. So, it's always been a part of their history.
Right.
And I don't know too many sports who does it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got to applaud what Adam Silver, those guys have continued to recognize and market because that's part of our history.
Correct.
Like these young guys who are playing now, they're going to be part of somebody else's history.
Correct.
So it's that cycle that continues to be a part of NBA history and a part of the game, and now keeping everybody recognizable, taking care of our family. That's what it is. The NBA family is a big and small family.
Right. I get it. But yeah, I love the reverence that they have for the legends, which brings me to the point now that you kind of made with the current players, and some not recognizing the greatness of some of the legends or maybe downplaying it a little bit without citing certain examples. You know what I mean?
I don't think a lot of guys look at the history like we did. Guys before us.
Okay.
But you had the great players. The great players, they understand it. LeBron's and the KDs, and the Steph Curry, all those great players of the day, Giannis and all these guys, they recognize it. I mean, last year I had a ball boy come to me and he said, Giannis would love to have your autograph on his jersey. So there's a lot of guys who still respect us. It's just the guys.
It's the great ones, too.
Yeah, just the guys who don't educate themselves again. There's a lot of times we walk in the building and the player don't even know who you are.
Right.
But the great ones or the good players, they know. They know.
Any young one who consulted you seriously about NBA basketball lifestyle or whatever?
Well, you know what? Just our own players, because I'm around them every day,
Correct.
like the Trey Young, the Dejounte
Right.
Murray, John Collins before he left. I mean, so it's a lot of guys through the past, like the Joe Johnsons and the Al Horfords. of the
Even
world.
Shaq back in the day, right? He
Yeah,
was
and I was his mentor.
yeah, exactly. You were mentored to Shaq back in the day,
you
right?
know. And that's why to this day we're such great friends
Right.
because we understand history.
Right.
Guys before
Right,
us
right.
who've made it possible for us to be here.
Right,
A lot of these
right.
guys don't.
Right. Speaking of history,
Yeah.
a lot of people mention about Game 7. You and Larry, you had a lot of battles. I know your first game was against him, and then even towards the end, playoff battles, championship, not championship, but major battles in Boston too.
Mm-hmm.
But is there any game, and everybody knows that already, or if not, you should. But is there any game that is not being mentioned that in your personal history that one ranks up there, that matchup ranks up there that doesn't get mentioned a lot? You've had the Larry Bird matchup, you've had the MJ matchup. Is there anything that we're missing out here since we want to educate?
Man, there's so many great games that
For you, yeah.
that I play, and it's hard to really identify one that stands out more. Because I had a lot of great games, man. I had a lot of great games. Against Chicago, I had 57, and it was a tough game. And I remember coming
In
back.
Chicago?
No, in Atlanta. I remember
in
going
Atlanta.
back to Chicago, and he dropped 60. So, we've had great battles. That's just one of many battles. Battles with the Portland Trail Blazers, Clyde Drexler.
Oh, yeah.
Battles in New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Philadelphia. I mean, it's just so many games. Hard to put one up there higher than them.
Yeah, you guys should educate yourselves with this one. All right, a couple more questions before we let you go. The broadcasting part of it, because obviously this is a personal question for me. I do the games. I've been doing the games here for close to a couple of decades also. Been part of some of the NBA trips, so we've seen you there. You've been doing a lot of games for Atlanta. Has it changed your view of the NBA or NBA players or media in general now that you're also on that side?
Well, no, I haven't changed my view at all.
How do you keep it fresh for you?
The thing is, you got to make sure you talk about the what, when, and why something happened on the floor. And how do you do that? You got to be able to interact with the players before it see how a guy is doing, feeling. And you look at different matchups and what matchups have a more advantage. So being around the game over 40-some years, it's just easy for me to identify stuff like that.
So that keeps it fresh for you as the game evolves. You evolve with
I
it.
still love the game.
Right, of course.
So that's the difference.
All right. Speaking of love, you've got a lot of love for Atlanta, and you're part of the organization. What are we looking at for Atlanta for not just this year, as the season is about to open, but in the next couple of years with the great players that you have right now? So you tell the Atlanta fans out there.
See, we got a lot of young players.
Okay.
That will hopefully have time together for the next 2, 3, 4 years. Because guys, a lot of times they move a little bit early.
Right.
But we got a nice nucleus, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the guys play the first couple games, and of course I travel with them.
Is there any projection? I know the East is tough, but for this year, well, what are you thinking?
It's the thing I tell people this. Don't look too far ahead.
Okay.
Take care of business at hand.
Okay.
And if you can build chemistry and guys can get used to winning early, don't tell them where you can go.
Dominique Wilkins, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, man. My pleasure, bro.
Happy shopping, and welcome back to the Philippines.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
My man.
We have got special courtside stories from our UAAP Season 86 correspondents coming up. So stay tuned. You're watching the game.
Welcome back. You're still watching The Game. UAAP Season 86 officially tipped off last weekend, unveiling new fresh stories from the hard court. And here to give us a glimpse at some of these courtside stories are UAAP Season 86 correspondents Patrice Dabao and Rocio Trillo. Congratulations.
Woo!
And welcome to The Game, ladies.
First time, right? First time.
Yes.
Well, first of all, let me say congratulations to my partner here, Sam Corrales, taking care of the correspondence for the last couple of seasons. Great job for you, Sam.
I have so many sisters already. I love
Yes.
it.
Now, congratulations to you, Patrice. Let me just first ask, how was day number one? And Rocio, please follow right after. Well, day number one for you guys.
Well, day number one, I guess in one word, it was quite electrifying. It was just such an overwhelming, in a good way, like experience, like taking in the lights, the sounds, the in-ear, listening to the panel. So, I mean, there's a lot of room for growth, but you know, I'm excited to really see how I
All
can
of
improve.
us.
Yes.
Yeah, for all. Rocio?
Well, it was such a surreal experience, honestly, because I've been to games as a manager, but I've never seen the production side of things. So it was just so interesting, and you had to really compartmentalize because there's like a million and one things going on, and it's just you, the camera, the floor director, right?
And of course, you know, you are definitely not new to this whole, you know, sports arena because first of all, Patrice, you are a basketball player yourself. You played some volleyball. So what was it like, you know, finally talking to all these athletes and being on the other side of things?
Well, I guess I could say that it really gave me a new perspective. Like, similar to what Rocio said, you know, I watched the games as a fan. My dad was also a basketball player. You know, we really just enjoyed the games together. But now, you know, getting to see the other side, really the athletes, and seeing how hard they work, I would say it's just so inspiring. And all the more it makes me really, it gives me a greater sense of purpose when it comes to my reporting.
I
All right.
love that.
Let's start with that. Greater sense of purpose is what Topex Robinson has brought to the LaSalle system now. What have your observations been, and how the players have responded? I know it's just one game and we've only had a sneak peek of it, but you have had a better look.
Yes, so I think it was really obvious that like a lot of the players, you could tell that they played with a lot more confidence, you know, self-assuredness, and especially if I were to name drop, I would say Francis Escandor. Like a lot of people were talking about, you know, his performance. He did an extra good job, and when I talked to Coach Topex about it, you know, he really credited it to the fact that there's a clarity of roles when it comes to the players, and it goes beyond just their positions as forwards, guards, centers. It's really about they understand what they can bring to the table, how they can bring value to the team, and how they can contribute to the team. And not only that, he also is really big on building relationships with the players.
And by the way, you can name drop all you want here. Okay lang yun, okay lang
You
yun.
have all the right
Yes,
as a
yes,
correspondent. Now, Rocio, on the other side of things, a different story for you because Ateneo, of course, they're coming from a championship. They absorbed their first ever, you know, opening game loss since 2018. So can you take us in the atmosphere, you know, around the team? What was it like in practice after that opening day loss against NU?
So actually, I want to take it back to the locker room right after.
Please, yes.
And so you could feel the tension, you know, as athletes, they want to perform at their best. So you really felt the tension there. But 2 days after practice, Monday, they're so proactive. I feel like Coach Tab really cultivates a proactive environment. And you see it in the rookies because after they had dinner, so I was able to talk to a few of them, and I was talking to them about it, like, how do you feel? And they're like, honestly, we want to move forward. We're excited for a challenge. And now we're hungrier than ever. And and a big thing that they said was, wow, the drums. The drums are insane. And a lot of them are from the States or other areas. So adjusting to the Philippine basketball style of play is another factor that they've been adjusting to.
All right, the drums that Coach Tab Baldwin loves so much, by the way, and I'm very sarcastic when I say that. And it's going to be even louder tomorrow, Sam.
Yes, just getting started.
Yeah, you
Exciting.
guys are going to go up against each other. How long have you been, you know, chatting with them, Patrice? And I know they've had some stories from their bonding in Japan. What can you tell us about that, and what did they bring back to the Philippines from that experience?
Yeah, so they were in Japan for like, I would say a little bit over a week, and oh my gosh, they saw the sights, all the food. They really enjoyed.
They
Like,
didn't bring you along.
yeah,
How dare
unfortunately,
you?
yeah. But hearing their stories, I've never been, so I mean, it looked so fun, and they really, really enjoyed the food. I mean, they love like the sushi, the yakitori, and the chicken karaage. They name dropped the food because it was that good.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, and then it was really such a good opportunity for them to bond because I think they did go to Japan a year ago, but it was quite short. So it was really, the time spent was playing tune-up games. So during this time, they visited theme parks, they did their own things and really bonded as a team.
Well, that's so great to hear, and we can't wait maybe after the season, if there's something to celebrate, maybe one more trip to Japan. But
Maybe they can bring her along.
yes, let's see. But okay, Rocio, you were talking about how this is like a new experience for the team. Most of them are rookies, and speaking of one of them, Sean Queteves. I mean, he's relatively new to the league, and now he's stepping up as a team captain. So I know he is also recovering from an injury. So how did he cope with that?
Well, actually, he did all the physical therapy training, but apart from that, mentally, he actually journaled. And he was talking about how being reflective and being in that space enabled him to bounce back, not just physically, but mentally, and step up as a leader, which I found really cool. And obviously, he graduated cum laude, so
Oh, wow.
yeah, he's a very intellectual guy in that way.
And perfect for him because he's the co-captain of the team alongside Chris Kuhn. Michael Phillips, let's talk about him. What a game, the last game. What can you tell us about him that we don't get to see?
Yes, so I mean, what I wanted to see was a new perspective on just more than being an athlete, also being a student. So I asked, I was really curious because obviously as an athlete, you don't really have that much time on your hands, really. But what Coach Topex really instilled in the boys is really to prioritize school because, like the saying goes, you're students before you're athletes. So I asked Michael, what's your strategy with your time management skills and how do you stay on top of your ACADS? And he said it's more than just time management, it's really just discipline, getting things done right away, and really just getting ahead of the curve. And that's really his goal. And I think he also gets that from his older brothers, Ben and Zay. And a lot of the players said that they really look up to these three boys because how they're able to balance, their all the aspects of their lives,
In different ways, with
ways.
different interests,
Very
right, for the
different,
three of
yes.
them. Yeah.
Speaking of interests, Boom, nowadays we see athletes, with different pregame rituals, what they drink, what they eat, right?
Listen to.
Yes, it's all just part of their whole, flow. And these girls were able to find out that they do love caffeine. They love their coffee. So can you tell us, what type of coffee do these guys like?
Well, actually, both co-captains love coffee. And so after one of the preseason tournaments, we had dinner and they wanted coffee after. That was their dessert. And so Chris Kuhn, he loves his coffee straight, just like a dash of oat milk. He's very particular about the types of coffee beans that are used. And when they did their trips abroad, they always visited different cafes. And in contrast, Sean loves his very sweet drinks. So you have the strong and the sweet, the nice contrast.
They're probably going to have that prior to the game tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
for
speaking
sure.
of, okay, we got to talk about KQ because he was the best
course.
player. You interviewed him after. What are you going to tell us? What other story do you want to share with us about him?
Yeah, so first of all, he's super nice and so friendly. I'm
He
so
is.
endeared, honestly. But I actually wanted to ask, fun, non-serious questions. So I asked him, if you could be another player, another Green Archer for the day, who would it be? And he said Raven Cortez because he finds him to be very smart, very intellectual. He was actually an engineering student, but he shifted to business management. So he really just wants to get into his brain and really see how he thinks. And in the same sense, I also asked him if you were to be a coach, who would it be? And of course, he picks Coach Topex.
No bias there.
Yeah, definitely not.
He wants to play some more. He wants to get some more playing time. That's what it is.
Yep. Yeah, so he wants to see how does he get, these inspiring words and motivational speeches and all that. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Of course, we see that in all of the vlogs and everything, but we're just getting started, ladies. Congratulations on your debut. Good luck
Tomorrow.
in the Ateneo LaSalle
Oh,
matchup
boy.
happening tomorrow. But thank you
be
so
fun.
much and good luck with that.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And thank you as well for joining us. I'm Sam Corrales.
Don't forget to catch us weeknights here on One News and on the Pilipinas Live app, where you can watch us live and, of course, our past episodes on demand for just 149 pesos a month. Available for download on Google Play or the App Store. I'm Boom Gonzalez, and this has been The Game.